everyone, Kate Berkner here today with Dr. Tom Phelan, author and creator of 123 Magic, as well as the author of The Manager Mom Epidemic. Dr. Phelan, welcome.
Good morning, Kate.
Long time no see. Dr. Phelan and I got to do a Q&A yesterday in a private Facebook group that was a lot of fun. We got to interact with some parents who, as Dr. Phelan said, had some real zingers at questions.
That's for sure.
But I think Dr. Phelan was able to help, and that was great. So today what we're talking about is your parenting personality or your parenting style. And Dr. Phelan, I know that you shared in the past that there are kind of 4 different parenting styles that you talk about. Can you tell us what those 4 styles are?
Yeah, we can define the 4 styles by the fact that good parents are both warm as well as demanding. So, you read the kids a story before bed, that's warm. Bedtime is 9 o'clock, that's demanding. And if you do on-off switches on warm and demanding, so imagine the warm is on or off, demanding is on or off, you get 4 possibilities. And so if you get warm is on and demanding is off, we get what we call the permissive or pushover style. If you get demanding on and warm off, you get the authoritarian, kind of the intimidating style. Some people forget sometimes, what if they're both off? What if the parents are neither warm nor demanding? You get what we call the detached style. These are parents who are often depressed, or it's a socioeconomic poverty situation, or something really difficult is going on. And then finally, the goal is for both of those to be on, for the warm to be on and the demanding on. And what we call that is authoritative parenting. So that's the good guy. That's the goal. That's what we're shooting for.
Got it. So authoritative versus authoritarian. So maybe if you could walk us through kind of what each of those styles might look like at home. Like, what might the interactions between parent and child look like if, say, warm is on but demanding is off? So that permissive parent.
Yeah, that's the permissive or the pushover. This one is dominated by anxiety in the parents and guilt. Those 2 emotions. So permissive, that's I don't want to offend my kids. I feel guilty if I make them feel bad. It's also motivated by a belief that we can talk anything out, and we have to talk everything out. There's no room for power plays on the part of parenting. I don't say because I told you so, or it's time for bed, and there's no more discussion about it, and that kind of thing. You'll often hear in the parent's voice too, or parents' voices, an anxious, pleading, often whimpering quality to it. And of course, the kids can pick up on that and eat that particular parent alive.
Oh dear. And so a child of a permissive or pushover parent, what types of kind of qualities or characteristics is that child likely to grow up with as a result of that style of parenting?
Yeah, you're going to find people that are going to tend toward narcissism. They're going to tend toward a sense of entitlement, and they like to have things. They're used to having things their own way. They're used to pushing people around. They're good at testing and manipulation and so on. So they're going to be, kind of self-centered and not a lot of fun to live with.
Got it. Yeah, because when you think about the way that personalities develop, and you do some reading on how and when personalities develop, a lot of it comes from a lot of that base is built when you are a younger child, and if your authority figure is acting as though you are the one in charge,
Yeah.
I can see where that would very much lead you to believe, whether consciously or subconsciously, that you are in charge of everyone and everything.
That's right. And there's genes involved in genetics, of course, so that's going to play a big role in how people turn out. But there's always a tendency in the direction that we're talking about here for the kids of permissive to turn out the sort of entitled type.
Got it. Okay, so then how about what sort of the interaction at home might look like with the warm switch off and the demanding switch on?
Yeah, so this is the authoritarian. These parents are what we call T-Rex parents, and they are anything but pushovers. They're intimidating. They're scary. Their dominant emotions when it comes to parenting are anger and they get mad at the children for what they're doing, anger and irritation. And so it's like, do it because I said so. They never explain anything. They like first time obedience. If I say so, you gotta, snap to right away. And the kids are, frightened by them, and that's the dominant power they have. So this is big power play where the permissive don't want power play at all. This is big power play where the permissive voices sound, whimpering or pleading. The authoritarian voices sound loud, frightening, scary, and of course intimidating.
Got it. And we talked about how, the child of a permissive parent may grow up to feel entitled, to be a little bit self centered. What types of qualities or characteristics might the child of a more authoritarian parent grow up to exhibit?
Yeah, we would expect them to have more problems with self-esteem, and to be kind of tentative, to be kind of timid, to be worried in relationships about offending other people. There's a very intriguing thing called the imposter phenomenon that I think can be an outgrowth of this kind of thing. And imposter phenomenon is an adult who is doing very well in life. Thank you very much. They're good at their job. They're good at getting along with people. They have good interpersonal skills, and they feel that they are a fake, and they feel they're putting one over on everybody. And you can see the dynamics of that if you think about it. If you had a parent who is always intimidating, what are you going to do? You're going to cooperate. You're going to do what you're supposed to be doing. And at the same time, you're going to feel that you never please them because you never hear that you please them. So you can see the dynamics are perfect to create that imposter phenomenon. And those imposter people, I've done psychotherapy for over 40 years. They are wonderful patients. They just, boy, you could have a whole practice full of imposter phenomena. Yeah, you'd be on cloud nine.
Yeah, and well, because they want to win that approval, right?
Yeah,
They want to do
yeah,
the things they're supposed to do.
yeah, and they're very cooperative. And then when you finally get them thinking, wait a minute, you don't have to be like this, and then they start to accept the fact that they really are doing well, and they don't have to play up to everybody, including you, the therapist. It's great fun.
Absolutely. Okay, so then let's talk about sort of this detached parent. We've got both warm and demanding off. What might that look like at home?
Yeah, detached is it's somebody who's just sort of quiet, often in the background. Their voice doesn't have a lot of quality to it because they don't talk a lot. And as I mentioned, they can often be depressed. They can be very passive. They can let the kids do whatever they want to. The kid sets their own bedtime and this kind of thing. And it's I think the whole feeling about it is sort of one of sadness. It's like my mom when I grew up, my mom wasn't there. She was physically there, but she wasn't spiritually or mentally there in the house. And often, this is going to be a result of depression or other things that are playing on that parent that need to be addressed.
Got it. And so then what kind of, qualities or personality traits might the child of a detached parent exhibit as they grow up?
Yeah, this gets a little more confusing because you could imagine they might they might be more self-sufficient in some ways, uh, but they're also going to have a feeling of neglect. They're not going to know what to do in relationships with other people because I didn't have a relationship really with my parent, so I don't know quite how to approach other people. I think so. They're going to be kind of bewildered. I think some of them can lean toward the entitled thing because they were sort of running their own show, and the detached parent is sort of like the permissive in terms of being pushed around. They're easy to push around. So I think you'll get some of that dynamic as well.
Got it. Okay. Well, so we've talked about three parenting styles or types that can be challenging and can create some challenges. So let's talk about the style or the type that we are looking to have at home. And that's the one where both warm and demanding switches are flipped on. What does that look like at home?
Yeah. And what this looks like, it's going to be, different things. It's going to be there's going to be a time for fun. There's going to be a time where we can talk. I'm your parent. You come home from school, say my music teacher's an idiot. I don't yell at you. I say, what happened? It's the warm part of parenting. 9 o'clock is bedtime. You say, can we have one more story? I say, no. 9 o'clock is bedtime. That's the demanding part. So you're going to see the parent is turning on and off these switches, but without the big emotional component, without the anxiety about offending you. It's no, that's the role. That's what we do in this house, and without the anger and the intimidation being there. So you see a parent who, instead of anxious or angry, they're calm and decisive. And we're all human, so nobody's perfect and going to do this all the time, and just look like just a wonderfully well put together human being 24 hours a day. That doesn't happen, but that's the goal. So the kids feel comfortable because the kids know these are the rules. This is how we do it here. And mom and dad is not going to abuse me emotionally or physically, and I'm going to follow along with those rules. But I can also talk to them if I'm upset. They're the place where I go, and I can tell them what's bothering me, and we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So with a permissive parent, you mentioned that there's like some anxiety in there about not wanting the kids to be upset. How much of that is potentially caused by almost sort of a sense of confusion, or feeling like you don't really know how to confidently do your job as a parent?
Yeah, I think adding to the confusion, I mean, that's what you're thinking about is, today you got so many, uh, I mean, you got so many parenting philosophies and theories and all this stuff coming at you that if you if you have a leaning that way and you walk into a bookstore or go on Amazon or whatever, look at all the books, you're not going to have any idea where to start, and so your anxiety is really aggravated by the confusion that you're talking about, and so many. I don't know where to begin, and so that makes the whole thing worse.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that starts even before your child arrives. As someone who has had a baby in the last 5 years. There's, as soon as you get pregnant, there's, you should eat this, you shouldn't eat that. No, that's totally fine to eat. Don't worry about that. Exercise during pregnancy, breastfeeding, your birth and labor plan. Like, there's so many points of view and so much information out there that it can get confusing if you don't have some direction.
Right, I think sooner or later you gotta say, "I'm gonna pick one and stick with it." And so
Yeah.
you talk to your friends, you look at the books and all this, but don't they have books that are compilations of books, or TV shows or radio shows that are compilations of things, and they just get you confused. So, like, make up your mind, pick one that seems pretty reasonable, and then do it, and you'll be much better off, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the other side of that, how much of sort of the demanding on warm off could potentially be caused by sort of the flip side of this coin, like knowing that you want and need to parent, and that the kids need to do specific things, but not having a good plan or a good strategy to get them to do that, that doesn't rely on, and the way that you phrase it in the book is the little adult assumption, right? Assuming that kids will listen and do something the first time that they've been told, that they're essentially just adults but smaller, when realistically they're not, right? Their brains are still developing. And so kids are inherently very self-centered because they're still learning things like social interaction and empathy. So how much of this very demanding warm switch off style of parenting comes from maybe frustration with not being able to get your kids to do what you want them to do?
Yeah, it might be some, but I think the authoritarians often feel that they do know what is right, and what is right is my way. And so I'm going to intimidate you, and if you don't do it, you're going to have a big problem. And so they will often get results, but the results are the results of intimidation, and they don't explain much. But it's more like the bad version of "because I said so," and I don't have any problem with "because I said so" if I just said why, and it was a necessary explanation. But sometimes "because I said so" is a a good thing, but it doesn't have to be an angry thing. So I think if the authoritarian are confused, they certainly resolve it quickly by thinking, well, I know this. A lot of them will say, this is the way I was raised. My parents spanked me, so look how I turned out. And I sometimes have to bite my tongue and say, I'm going to tell you how you turned out. It's not so hot, uh, but they'll say, that's why I was raised, so that's the way to do it. Well, that doesn't make any sense either. But they're running on anger. That's what they're doing, and I think Anger usually means you're at least acting like you're sure of yourself.
Got it. So, all right. So we've talked about kind of these four different parenting styles, and there's one that we're really aiming for. We want to be both warm and demanding, both kind of nurturing and firm, setting rules, making time for fun, that type of thing. So, if as a parent that's not the parenting style that I'm using right now, what is going to be the one thing that is really most likely to get in the way of me being that type of parent?
Yeah, I think that what you have to realize is you have to get off automatic on parent and look at I'm automatic. I'm automatically. What am I doing? The permissive is automatic, impulsively expressing anxiety and guilt, and the authoritarian is automatic, automatically expressing irritation and anger. So both of them have to realize I got to stop doing that. And one good way to start is that these parents, whatever they are, they have to realize. Let's just do the permissive and the authoritarian. They have to realize about rights of people. And the authoritarian has to realize, for example, that the kids have rights to a calm home, to a warm home, to parents who know what they're doing, and so on. Permissive has to realize that they have rights, the parents have rights, and so on. And so that's the place to start. And they have to do that. If they listen to a program like this, you say, well, the results of the way I'm operating now doesn't make me feel good at the time. And it has these possible negative outcomes for my kids. So I've got to do some reflection and find out how am I going to get to the warm and demanding role with my particular kids.
Absolutely. And of course, we have a recommendation for that. The 1, 2, 3 Magic program is really built to help parents get to that warm and demanding. And I think a really key piece of the program, right, is take the emotion out of it. Stop talking so much, right? You have a specific plan to follow. It doesn't involve yelling, it doesn't involve anxiety. It's just very calm, decisive. Here's what you do next. Yes, certainly if you're watching this and if you're looking for a solution and looking to move towards that type of parenting, obviously the 1, 2, 3 Magic program is going to provide some great solutions there.
I think so, and I think the way you can look at it, if you're permissive, what you need more is what the demanding part. Where is that in 1, 2, 3 Magic? It's in the counting. If you're intimidating, you need more the warm part. Where are you going to find the warm part? In parenting job number 3, especially with things like active listening, shared fun, and so on. And both of those, permissive as well as authoritarian, are going to have to look at parenting job number 2, which is establishing routines for positive behavior. Permissive needs more direction for the kids in that, and the intimidator needs to set up the routines so it's not a fear-based motivation for the kids. That this is the routine, this is how we do it. But yeah, if you look at 1, 2, 3 Magic, the parenting job number 1, mostly demanding. Parenting job number 3, mostly warm. Parenting job number 2, good behavior, is a little bit of combination of both. So it's a good blueprint.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Phelan. This has been great. If you are interested in going deeper into this topic, Dr. Phelan is going to be doing a free seminar next week on Thursday, and I will drop the registration link for that free seminar into the comments after we're done here. If you're not already signed up for our newsletter, head on over to 123magic.com and get signed up. We send out parenting videos every week, links to any upcoming free seminars, parenting advice, and more. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.